He doesn't scream. He doesn't argue. He just sits in his car after work, engine off, keys in hand, wondering how the home he built became the one place he doesn't feel welcome. Most men won't say it out loud, but behind closed doors in quiet conversations, gym locker rooms, WhatsApp groups, and sleepless nights, more and more men are starting to admit the same thing. Marriage feels like a trap, a bad deal, a slow bleed. And it's not because they're afraid of commitment. It's not because they want to live wild or avoid responsibility. Most of these men are responsible, painfully so. They provide, they protect, they stay loyal, and yet they're treated like a side character in the story of their own life. And that's the part no one talks about. Marriage used to offer peace. Today it offers pressure. Marriage used to offer purpose. Today it offers performance. You're expected to show up, keep quiet, give everything, and ask for nothing. The moment you speak up, you're controlling. The moment you slow down, you're lazy. The moment you leave, you're the bad guy. Respect is gone. Peace is gone. And love? Love has been replaced with terms and conditions. So what do men do? They don't revolt. They don't yell. They just slowly withdraw. First emotionally, then mentally, then physically. Until one day he's there, but he's not really there anymore. And society, it doesn't ask why. It just blames him for not being present. But here's the truth. He didn't change. The contract did. The culture did. And he finally opened his eyes. So in this video, from the lens of reason, clarity, and Stoic self-mastery, I'm going to break down exactly why so many men are quietly walking away from marriage, and why that decision might be the most logical, emotionally intelligent, and self-respecting choice they'll ever make. Here's what we're about to uncover. Why disrespect always shows up long before divorce, how sexless marriages slowly dismantle a man's identity, the psychological trap of being accountable without authority, and how a Stoic man reclaims his freedom without needing a courtroom or a wedding band. This isn't about hate. It's not about blame. It's not about fear. It's about seeing clearly and finally choosing your peace over your programming. If you're a man trying to figure out why you feel so stuck, stay with me, because what you're about to hear might not just explain your past, it might protect your future. 1. The death of respect comes first. It never starts with a fight. It starts small. She corrects you in front of friends, interrupts your sentence like your thoughts don't matter, rolls her eyes when you offer a suggestion, as if your voice is background noise in her world. You laugh it off. You tell yourself, she's just tired. She didn't mean it. But slowly, it happens again and again. The tone, the sarcasm, the jokes that aren't really jokes, the comparison to other men, the subtle looks of disappointment. And before you even realize it, you're not showing up the same. You stop offering ideas. You stop expressing how you feel. Not because you're weak, but because you're tired of being disrespected in your own home. A man doesn't need to be praised 24/7, but without respect, he starts to rot on the inside. The Stoics said, the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. But how do you protect your thoughts when the environment you live in slowly poisons them? You're no longer a leader. You're the backup, the fixer, the driver, the one to blame. Suddenly, you're not the man she admired. You're the man she corrects, the man she critiques, the man she tolerates. So you get quiet. You stop leading. You fold inward until the only parts of you that survive are the ones that won't offend her. And at that point, you're still in the house, still paying the bills, still doing everything right, but you've stopped feeling like a man. 2. She doesn't reject you. She just stops reaching for you. It doesn't happen overnight. You don't wake up and realize the intimacy is gone. It just fades. The touches become less frequent. The kisses feel routine. The spark becomes a script. And before long, you're sharing a bed with someone who holds your body, but no longer reaches for your soul. It's not the lack of sex that hurts. It's the absence of desire. You start to feel like an obligation, something on her to-do list right between laundry and scrolling her phone. You try to bring it up. She says, "I'm just tired." You plan a trip. She's on her phone. You do everything right, but nothing changes. And deep down, a thought creeps in. If I wasn't her husband, would she even choose me? Stoicism teaches us to let go of things we cannot control. But what if the thing you're losing is the very connection you committed your life to? You gave up every other option. But now the one woman you chose no longer chooses you with the same energy. And if you complain, you're selfish. If you leave, you're the bad guy. If you stay, you slowly disappear. She didn't betray you. She just stopped trying. And now you're in a marriage where you can't cheat, but you're already being emotionally starved. This is the part no one talks about. It's not infidelity that breaks most men. It's the slow, quiet death of intimacy, replaced by cold duty and dead eyes. 3. The psychological trap of modern marriage used to be a structure. Today, it's a maze. You walk in thinking you're building a life together, but you quickly learn the rules change daily, and none of them favor you. You're told to lead, but every decision you make is questioned. You're told to protect, but the moment you set boundaries, you're too controlling. You're told to provide, but your sacrifices are never enough. You're carrying the weight, but you're not allowed to steer. And that's the trap. You're held accountable for everything, but given authority over nothing. The Stoics believed in responsibility, but not without power. They taught that a man should rule over himself, not be ruled inside his own home. But in many marriages today, a man is blamed for every outcome, even when he wasn't allowed to make the call. It's like being made CEO of a company, but every employee overrules you, and you still get fired when the business fails. That's what modern marriage does to men. You feel like a ghost in your own life, there in body, absent in control. You pay for the lifestyle, you absorb the stress, but you're treated like an intern instead of a leader. And when it breaks, everyone looks at you like, why didn't you try harder? But here's the real question. How long can a man be made invisible before he forgets he exists? 4. The risk is high and the reward is unclear. He didn't expect perfection. He just wanted peace, a partner, a home, a future he could pour into. He believed marriage would protect what they built. But somewhere along the line, the system stopped protecting him. Not because she changed, but because the rules did. See, when most men marry, they don't do it casually. They give their full commitment, their time, their money, their loyalty. They assume it's a shared investment. But the modern framework of marriage, it's built in a way that punishes commitment if it crumbles. What was designed to be a safe foundation has become a fragile contract with costly consequences. Let's talk facts. A man can lose half of everything he's built, even if he didn't walk away. He may pay child support, even if he's involved. He might live apart from his kids, even if he's the one still showing up. He might start over, emotionally drained, financially stripped, while being publicly blamed. And this isn't about good or bad women. This is about systems that are no longer built with fairness in mind. So when men hesitate to marry, it's not fear, it's calculation. Don't enter agreements where the cost of failure is your identity. A Stoic principle at its core, because at some point it's not about love anymore. It's about what's left of you if everything else falls apart. And if the reward is unclear, but the risk is devastating, maybe walking away isn't weakness. Maybe it's wisdom. Why would a rational man enter a contract that only punishes his loyalty? Don't hand over your freedom to what you cannot control. Marcus Aurelius. And yet that's exactly what most men do. They hand over their money, their peace, their mental health for a fantasy that ends in courtrooms, custody battles, and I'm not in love with you anymore. The lie was never marriage. The lie was thinking the system still protects you when it falls apart. It doesn't. It strips you bare, then expects you to keep smiling. 5. The Stoic path. Why choosing peace isn't cowardice, it's clarity. They'll say you're scared, that you're bitter, that you can't handle a real relationship. But here's what they'll never say. He stayed loyal for years, even when no one appreciated him. He gave everything and asked for nothing. He broke quietly because he thought staying made him strong. That man, he didn't run from love. He walked away from performance-based worth. He stopped trying to earn respect that should have been there from the beginning. He stopped trying to fix what was never broken, himself. The Stoics never said to avoid love, but they warned us, if peace must be begged for, it was never yours to begin with. A Stoic man doesn't hate women. He doesn't fear commitment. He simply refuses to lose himself to keep someone else comfortable. He chooses peace over pressure, purpose over performance, presence over pretending he can still love. He can still protect. He can still build. But now, he does it with his eyes open and on his terms. Because sometimes, the strongest thing a man can do is not sign the contract. If you're a man watching this, let's be clear. We're not saying marriage is evil. We're not saying love is dead. And we're definitely not here to bash women. What we are saying is this. If your marriage is stripping you of your voice, your peace, your confidence, and your identity as a man, then it's time to ask a hard question. Is this helping me grow, or is it quietly breaking me down? Because the truth is, some marriages do work, built on mutual respect, shared values, and deep love. They can bring peace, strength, and legacy. But those marriages don't come from pressure, they don't come from social expectations, and they definitely don't survive when one person is always the one adjusting. If your marriage is working, protect it, water it, cherish it. But if it's not, if it's slowly destroying your spirit, then know this. Walking away doesn't make you weak. It means you finally stop choosing pain over peace. This isn't about hate. It's not about fear. It's about refusing to perform in a role that's slowly erasing you. Because a real man doesn't need a contract to prove his loyalty. He just needs space to lead, room to grow, and a relationship that doesn't punish him for being masculine. So if you know a man who's silently carrying that weight, send him this video, not to fuel his anger, but to remind him he's not crazy, he's not broken, and he's not alone. He's just finally waking up. Subscribe if your peace matters more than public opinion. This is Stoic Thinkers, and if you're ready to reclaim your clarity, welcome home.